The wisdom of a small child. Sometimes it is amazing to me how people are wise beyond their years. And I want to give you an example of that today. I had a discussion with a mentee today, and at the end he told me a story about a discussion he and his son had. And I'm going to cut that in here, and I would only ask that you listen to it and then turn the spotlight on yourself. All of us should do that. And say, how does this lesson apply to us? And what are we going to do differently in terms of taking actions? He has one heck of a smart, insightful son. And so I have rarely heard something from an 8-year-old that was as powerful as this is. So with that, I will let you go ahead and listen to it. If you're getting my emails, great. That's how you found this. If not, and you've listened to this some other way, go to my website, brucewhipple.com. Just take the free class. That'll put you on the website. And if you want to go directly to get the free class, just go.brucewhipple.com/free class. But this is as powerful a message as I've heard in a long time from an 8-year-old.
Yeah. Speaking of that, when I'm speaking of, it is, 100% our fault and so forth, and I heard it after I was thinking about that yesterday. I heard the most recent video. He says that the kid asked the dad, he says, God don't pay too much, huh? Because the house said, why do we live in this house? God don't pay too much, huh, Dad? And I think dad is a pastor or something like that.
Okay.
And then he says, ooh, that got him right in the damn heart,
Yeah.
He says, because he had to look at himself. And, and my son, he tells me yesterday, he's 8, he's like, so we're driving past downtown Chicago. He says, why can't we live in that building right there, with the big tall glass, condo building right off the lake. And I was like, well, we can. He says, okay, then why aren't we? And I was like, yeah. And I says, well, it's because of me. Mm-hmm. He says, well, why don't you call them up and tell them that, we want to go in there and look, I says, well, okay, we got to dress up and, this and that. And he says, well, what about the money? He says, how much do you think that costs all the way up there? I was like, that's about 1 to 10 million up there, And he says, no, the top. He says, not the middle, not almost to the top. He says, the top. He says, so no one could be around us except us, and then we could, we'll be the kings. We'll be on top. I'm like, I said, yeah, about 1 to 10 million. He said, so why can't you do it? And I was like, well, I can. It's just I'm not doing the stuff necessary at this point to do it. He said, well, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, this kid might have a future in doing this stuff, mentoring.
Yeah, because
he's asking all the right questions, and at 8 years old, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and and I had to tell him. He says, no, for real. What's wrong with you? Why can't we get up there? I said, I'm not doing some of the stuff I'm supposed to do. I said, but I know how we can do it for sure, without a doubt. He said, well, maybe you could go to the doctor so he could look in your head. And I said, you know what? I said, guess what? Tomorrow I talk to, he's not a doctor, but he's the person who shows you the way and helps you, guides you along the way. He says, well, can't you pay him to come to the house? I ain't got that much money.
Well, he's a pretty smart kid, so I don't know. You know what? I don't know when you started talking. You probably started talking at maybe 22 minutes into this tape. But you might want to take that little segment and watch it over and over again, or listen to it over and over again. Because that was some great questions, No, not the middle. The tops. We're like kings. Nobody's around.
Yeah.
Well, what's wrong with you? What aren't you doing? And then, he's peeling the onion, right? Well, how come you're not doing it? Maybe you need some help to figure out, That's pretty impressive kid you got there,
Yeah, he said I need to go to the doctor, check my head.
That's funny. I'm not using my name, but I'm going to have to go back and listen to this myself and put something like that on a podcast without your name, because that's pretty valuable. That's pretty valuable.
He also said about the car. We seen a car when we were driving by, and it happened to be a Ferrari. And it zoomed right past us, but we caught it at the light. This is all on the same day. He said, that's the car I want. He said, remember when we went to the dealer? Because we did the sniff test. So we went to the Rolls Royce / Ferrari dealer. And he says, why can't we have that car? He says, I really want that car, Dad. I really want it. So, well, you can't have it. You don't have a license. He says, yeah, but you could get it, and I could drive in it. But why can't? Is the reason why we can't have that car because the same reason why we can't be upstairs at the top? I was like, that's the same reason.
Same reason.
He's like,
you got to fix your head, Dad.
Yeah, he's like, you should really call that man today instead of tomorrow. I said, no, I talk with him tomorrow morning. He says, can't you call him now? Like his phone doesn't work during the day. I said, no, it doesn't work like that. He says, okay, or you could go to my doctor. He said, my doctor will work. Maybe he can, he'll put, that thing they put in your ears. So he's got a
sense of urgency too.
Yeah.
So look at this again and use that as motivation. To be sure, that's thanks for sharing that. That's pretty valuable. That's pretty valuable.
Yeah, it brought some sweat droplets out of me, But,
sure. You might tear up over that. You might get a little sweaty.
Yeah. I had to tell him the truth of the answers. I told him it's my fault.
But you
I'm not doing it.
You can fix that, right? The past does not have to define the future. And again, when you listen to podcast 54, you're going to hear from a guy that was dead broke, and a year later he's sitting in a private jet. He doesn't own it or anything. He just wanted to ride in it to see a client, and $3,000 suit, and he had just picked up the day before a $100,000 Mercedes. Happened pretty fast. I can't tell you it's going to happen to you that fast, but it certainly did. So that's a good one to watch or listen to, I guess. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff your son had to talk with you on.